Well, thank you for inviting myself and my co-founder to present to you folks today. Um, we are a two-person team right now, and we're going to take you through how we started and have grown our company over the last year and a couple of months. We're going to share the process of coming up with our idea, building the early stages of the product, going on to a full beta and into the public domain, and then what we've done since launching. So if that sounds good, I will just tell you this is a wordy slide. I'm not going to read the words. I wanted to take this opportunity while this slide is up to talk a little bit about how we started the company. So feel free to read the slide while I'm talking. But the story of how we built the company is probably not something you will hear a lot because most entrepreneurs who start companies are inspired by some issue that they want to have an impact on in this world, or some pressing need that they've discovered that needs to be solved right away, or they're focused on building something that they have imagined already in their minds. We went about this slightly differently, and I'm just going to take a couple of minutes. I started Persimmon AI, the company, late in 2018, really more like January of 2019. And I started it with the goal of building something that would improve the use of pharmaceutical products in this country. And I was very focused at that time on the inequities and disparities in the pharmaceutical marketplace, the fact that there are a lot of middlemen in the process between manufacturing the product and getting it into your hands, and each middleman uh, raises the ultimate price that we pay. So um, my my goal was to find an idea that I could dedicate my company to, that would address this pressing, what I felt was this pressing need. And I wasn't sure. I was waiting to be struck from above with inspiration, and of course that doesn't happen. That's not the way it happens. So the next thing I decided to try was to host an internship. And if you were on the call during and prior to the previous speaker, you've heard that uh, an internship is a good way to get your hand in on some uh, exciting projects and get um, material for your resume, get some good experience. So um, I decided that I would host an internship, and that hopefully together, myself and my three interns, it ended up being, would come up with an idea. So as not to make the story too long, I will tell you that while we had a great internship, we um, we really pulled out all the stops to give the interns a good experience. Um, but the internship, in spite of there being readings and homework assignments and presentations and guest speakers. In the end, the interns as a group did not come up with an idea for the company. So for a few months, I went back to doing what I've always done, which is predictive modeling. And then Soumil, Doshi, who had been one of the 3 interns that I had worked with in the second quarter of 2019. At the end of 2019, he came back to me and he said, "We need to do some more brainstorming because I think," he said, "I think I'm ready to come up with a good idea for a business." Uh, and I invited him to join me in some co-working space that I had rented, and we sat there with a big whiteboard up on the wall, and I really was prepared to do some brainstorming, throw some ideas up on the board, talk about the benefits and drawbacks of each one, and debate which one we should go after. That's not how it happened. When Sawmill got up to put his thoughts on the whiteboard, the very first idea out of his mind was to do something where we translated the names of the drugs from what they are in India to what they are in the U.S. I realized that a lot of people come to the U.S., in particular from India, but India is not the only place where people come to the U.S. to study or to work. And we were told many times by many customers that if you're a young person and you're coming to the US from India, your mom or your dad is going to take a plastic bag and fill it up with all the medicines that you're used to taking back home, all the cold and headache and tummy ache medicines that you're used to from back home, and they're going to give it to you to take with you. And um, when you get here, if you use up that set of medicines, you're kind of stuck. And that's what one of the 3 main use cases for our product OTC Finder is this case where you are in a country other than your home country, the country you grew up in, and you're trying to find the analogous medications. So before I give away the show on this first slide, I'm just going to move on and we'll get back to how the company progressed in just a moment. So let's crack the code of uh, the company and what problems it's been designed to solve. First of all, for international students, so our number one use case that we primarily wanted to solve when we first were discussing this idea that Sawmill had was, is it actually true that it's hard for international students to find the right over the counter or when we say over the counter, we also mean non-prescription. So these are regular medications that you would take for headache or allergies or cold and flu, not prescription medications that you would get from your doctor. And these 2 questions, 1A and 1B, are the questions that we asked our first few hundred users, which was, is it actually hard to find the alternatives that you're used to from back home, and what the analogous medications are here in the U.S., and what process do people use in the absence of our product, which we designed to solve a need that we didn't see any solutions for anywhere else in the market. So we did a lot of user, what we call user testing, user feedback collection, and we started out with just what they call clickable wireframes, which are just basically drawings that a designer will do for you that show how the user moves through your product. And so they're semi-automated and mostly just give the appearance of what the software would look like when it's fully functional. So back to these two questions. For our user type number one, the international students, and also I would include temporary workers, H-1B visa holders, people who have come here to live, to marry a spouse, or to people who are here on extended travel. All of these people can benefit from the translation part of our product. Then I'll take us to the next body of users, and that would be, um, we say domestic students here, but what we really mean are people who have grown up uh, or have become very well acquainted with what life is like here.
Miss Laura, your mic got muted.
Um, we still can't hear you. Um,
Miss Laura, can
yep.
you please unmute your mic?
You have to click on that Teams. Yeah, this one, and click on this. Yeah. Thank
There we
you.
go. Can you hear me now?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so I apologize for that. So we have our two main groups of users. We have people in the US from abroad, and that includes India right now, and soon will include Mexico. And we have domestic students, meaning people who are more acquainted with the US way of doing things, and maybe you've been to a US pharmacy, but it's still confusing to walk through the product aisles of a pharmacy and to see how many different products there are for a given condition, and to make your choice and to compare medications all the while you're standing and blocking an aisle in the pharmacy and trying to make sense of things. So that's user group number two, which would be Americans in the US trying to make sense of the pharmacy. And then the third user group, which we are not addressing right now, but which we hope to be addressing in the near future, would include any US, any person traveling for business or pleasure to another country where they have the risk of getting sick and not knowing what the right medication is in that country. So right now we're not addressing the travel market, but we feel that that is going to be a logical extension of what we've done so far. So a little bit about the product. We call it OTC Finder. The OTC stands for over the counter, meaning it's non-prescription medication. And the the goal of the product is to get you to the most appropriate choice of over-the-counter or non-prescription medication as quickly, as safely as possible in just a few clicks. Uh, so we like to say that internet search isn't always the best answer. We've tested a lot of our uh, products on the clicking the the pages on OTC Finder as compared to just say trying to Google something. And uh, I, I'm generally very happy with Google searches, but I can tell you that OTC Finder will get you to the right list of medications faster than a Google search. So I know our next speaker is from Google. So I have nothing but good things to say about Google. So here is our 360-degree product view. These are all the benefits of our product. So once the user puts in the medication they're trying to match, or conversely chooses to go directly to the listings of US products by condition, we have various uh, features of the product that help purchase the product. So we to start here at the search box functionality, we have the ability to sort and filter the searches so that if you're looking for something for allergies, let's say, and you want it to also address cough, or you want it to be a syrup instead of a tablet, we have a pretty advanced set of search box functionalities that can help you get to the right medication quickly and seamlessly. We also have, like I said, a list of 12 conditions that put you directly into the US data and get you within just a few clicks to the right list of medication for your condition. I'll show you that list of conditions in just a moment. Uh, we also have the ability to compare up to 3 products side by side. So that is very helpful in making a final decision about what product you want to go after. We have what we call My Journal. This journal feature enables you to take notes and keep records of what you've searched for, what you've selected, how it worked for you, um, and lets you come back in the future and search the notes to find exactly the product that you selected the last time, or on any previous time that you took notes in the journal. And last but not least, we have uh, 2 icons in various on several of our pages. One is for buying online. If you are not in need of the medication that exact same day and you can wait 1 to 2 days for it, you can buy it online through our product. or you can click the Find Nearest Pharmacy, and it will put pin drops into a Google map for you to find the nearest pharmacy to buy the product. So a sneak peek at the pages from the product that I was just telling you about. This first page is from 2 clicks into the product. So the user at this point is someone who is in the US from India, and they have this go-to medicine that they're accustomed to taking from back home in India called Crocin 650. And they're looking for a US analog of Crocin 650. So one of the things that people can't, as well as they may know, their over-the-counter medicines, one of the things that is hard to get around is when in another country the medicine has an entirely different name. And so this is one of the areas where we can add value, because we know that this active ingredient, paracetamol, which is quite common in India and in the UK and in other areas of Europe and the world, this chemical is actually exactly the same as what we in the US call acetaminophen, or the brand name Tylenol. So in this screenshot, what the user has done is select Crocin 650, and what they immediately see are the matching medicines that are the same as Crocin 650. And this Good Sense arthritis product is exactly the same because it's acetaminophen, 650 milligrams, exactly the same as this paracetamol, 650 milligrams. Now, let's say in pulling up the list of analogs that there were more than one on the list, and you wanted to get a sense of how the three compared. So another page from our product is this page, which is the comparison page. And this is only the top half of the page. But this shows 3 products: the Crocin product, which is the Indian product, and 2 US products, all with the exact same ingredients. So if you were to scroll up on this page, which we can't do here, you would see that in addition to active ingredients, it tells you about the indications, the conditions treated, side effects and warnings. And it has, if you can see these 2 small icons on each of the 2 US products, this little house icon uh, gives you the names of some pharmacies you can use to buy the product online. And this little map icon with the pin on it helps you find the nearest pharmacy. So just a recap of our product accomplishments over the past year. We started work, as I said, in January of 2020. Um, that was the launch of essentially the launch of the company. Um, we, so I guess we so the first big milestone in 2020 was to finish the USA database of over-the-counter products for the 12 conditions. Um, the next big data, product timeline uh, was when we upgraded the product 3 times in the first 6 weeks after launch. We've been growing at a rate of about 100% per quarter. So that means doubling our user base every quarter. Um, Last month, we achieved a net promoter score of 67. And as of this month, we have been successful in enrolling our product with several partners who are pharmacies or supermarket pharmacies. And not last but not least, our upcoming launch of the Mexico database. It, it's been only 4 months since we launched the product to start back in November, and we're ready to launch the Mexico data as of next the next couple of weeks. So the future roadmap for the company, we have a lot of ideas, a lot of directions we want to go in. We want to explore ways of making the product more accessible, easier to use. We want to personalize it, have it learn from the user. Uh, we, so that would include adding the ability of the user to like and or favorite certain products. That would include having individual characteristics remembered and utilized in displaying what products should go where in the listing. We want to expand the scope of the product, and we're going to be branching out into other countries after Mexico. And we want to finally enlarge the knowledge base by adding new products and new resources for the um, new arrivals in this country to go beyond the medication database into other resources that new arrivals in this country could benefit from. So this slide is an opportunity to share with you some of the user feedback we've gotten on the product. We've collected any emails we've received with feedback, and we've implemented a lot of the suggestions we've gotten. One comment we got here was that it was a very useful tool for both medical and non-medical people. Another comment was somebody wrote to say that they had faced this problem of not knowing which medication to take, and they were very happy that we had solved that problem. We've gotten a lot of feedback that the design is clean, the user interface is straightforward, the results are accurate and easy to use, the interface is easy to use and to figure out. And finally, our users love the comparison page, the second screenshot that I showed you earlier. So this is the team, myself and Soumil. We are the only full-time employees of Persimmon AI right now. I have to tell you, Soumil is a powerhouse. He does the work of 3 people, all with a smile and no sleep. So I'm very happy to be working with him, and I'm looking forward to what the upcoming year will bring us. So thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Wow, that was a really great presentation, Laura.
Thank you.
Um, so I think like the first question that would be on everybody's mind is, are you looking for interns?
Yes, well, actually, we are. Um, and we're looking for somebody with, do you know anybody with an engineering background? We're looking for an intern with an engineering background.
Awesome. I mean, there are 25 people here. I think almost all of them raised their hands a little.
Yes, so I'm happy to talk offline with anybody who wants to know more about what we're looking for, but we definitely uh, could use some internship help.
Awesome. And like, there were some aspects that we couldn't see on the slides. So if it's not an issue, can you like share your screen and give us a like go through the website itself, like a quick go through?
Um, you're asking me to demo the product?
Yeah, if that's possible.
Oh, sure. So you should still be seeing my screen. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm signing in. This is the home page. I'm going to scroll quickly up so you can see the 12 conditions that we treat. So
Okay.
we started out with 8, but we added the last 4 recently because of a demand from our users. So just to quickly show you the two, actually 3 different user flows that we talked about. The one for people who are in this country from India, they would come to this search bar and type in, here's a familiar Indian product. And you can see that there are 5 that come up when I type Croson. Now I can either type which one I want, or let's say I'm not sure which one I want. Um, so I'm just going to search all Croson and I get the 5 different Crosons right here. So this is one place where um, you can do a comparison. So if I wasn't sure which Croson I wanted, I could compare 2 of the Crosons side by side. And oh yeah, this is the one that I wanted, Croson cold and flu. So I'm going to go back and sorry. I'm going to click Croson cold and flu and see by choosing one, it automatically supplies me with the matching medications here below. And I could, if I wanted to, go through and do the compare again on these search results. I could compare to, let's say, this one says sinus pain. This one says sinus pain. So let's see. Um, this one says fever. So I'm going to compare these 3. I get a very attractive side-by-side comparison. And here are our buy online or nearby pharmacy icons. So if you click buy online, It takes you to the list of pharmacies. You can choose which one you want to buy from, and it will immediately take you to not just this pharmacy's website, but the exact page where this product is located on this pharmacy's website. So that's a very convenient feature. See, we went right to the Theraflu on the Walmart website. So to go back, if we click the nearby pharmacy link, it takes us to the Google map in a separate tab, so I can go back to the product when I want to. Meanwhile, I've got the pharmacies located near me all showing up on the map. Not interested in going to a pharmacy right now. I'm going to go back to the product and buy it online. So just to quickly show you my journal, I have several notes here. They don't have to be big essays. That can be just short things. Let's say I woke up with a migraine like I did day before yesterday. I'm trying to find what did I take for migraine. I can put in this search bar migraine, and it immediately brings up only those notes that I've made that contain a reference to migraine. So this has migraine in the note body. This one has migraine in the medication name. So let's say I've used that Goodies pain relief, Goodies back and body pain. So I want to put a new entry. And I put, this is the second time I'm using it, so I'm putting work again on that back pain. So then I save it, and I can find it through the search anytime I want. So that's how my journal works. Anytime you're anywhere in the product and you want to come back to this page with the search bar and the conditions, you can just click this OTC finder in the upper left corner. Also accessible from the product are two tabs that we think are going to be very helpful to people. How it works shows every page and how to interpret it, how to use it, what the search box is for, what the pre-listed conditions are for, the search page, the page with the matching medicines, comparison page, and the details page, which I didn't even show you, and then the My Journal page. So how it works really explains it very well. And then we also have FAQs. So if there's any question about any of these topics, you can come to FAQs and get the answer. And we would be delighted for all of you to sign up. It's free. We made a commitment to our users that the first 1,000 signups would be free for life. So I welcome you to sign up after the presentations are over, and uh, I will give you the information again. Uh, so here's the link. This link takes you directly to the product page, And like I said, signing up is free. All we ask is your emails so that we can advise you of future upgrades to the product. And if you want to check out the website where we have some blogs and some more information about the company, that URL is just persimmonai.com without the OTC finder.
That looks like a really helpful tool. We have another question from our Vice President of Finance, Sylvine. Are you here?
Yes, thank you. So thank you, Ms. Laura, for this amazing presentation and your effort and work at Persimmon AI to provide solutions to our diverse community. I myself, as an international student, very much needed this tool, so thank you. Now, my question is, you told us you started a little bit before this COVID situation. Is there any way it affected your business? And to add to it, now that this COVID is kind of going away, do you see any changes in how, like the functioning of the business?
That's an excellent question. Clearly, we've all been affected by the COVID crisis. What happened? So the way it affected Soumil and me was we had signed up for co-working space, which is space in a communal work environment where you can rent an office or just a desk and have a place to meet. And a lot of startups start with that kind of space because it's month to month, and it allows you to grow organically and not have to formally rent office space until you're ready. So we started out with a desk in a co-working space that we shared, and we were able to work side by side in January and February of 2020. And then in March, when the pandemic started, we had to go back to working remotely. And for a short while, Soumil was in San Francisco when I was not far from San Francisco. But then he had to go back to India. And the interesting thing was we talk every day for at least an hour, sometimes as much as 2 or 3 hours, reviewing what's been happening, solving problems, brainstorming about the future, all of those things. And I didn't really find much change to my work life with the pandemic because I was, interacting with Sawmill remotely in both situations, both when he was here and when he was back in India. He took the brunt of it when he went back to India because he continued to work on California time, which meant that he was working all night, and then he would work all day too. I swear for months I didn't know if he slept or didn't sleep. But I would say that the COVID situation has also shown itself in terms of the funding environment, and I won't go into that too much, but the whole process of going out for funding has changed. It's remote now as well, and that means it's harder to get a feel for how you're coming across. It's harder to get a sense of what people's impressions are when you're presenting remotely. So that's pretty much how it has affected us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Um, it's interesting to see like how Soumil has been so involved and how he was working. So like I would like to know from Soumil, like what was your mindset when you were starting all this and how did you manage it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting story, and it relates back to the keynote speaker, right? I mean, the way she said that you gotta hustle, right? At the end of the day, the hours don't matter. If you really like what you do, the hours are just off the clock. It's just the numerical number which you see on screen. So for me, this is something I relate to. This is something I breathe on. This is my air. So for me, it's just like doesn't matter if I'm PST, IST, CDT, doesn't really matter. So yeah, at the end of the day, I thrive and strive on this thing, and it's really close to me. And obviously, Laura also being so um, very much involved. So yeah, I mean, and it's a learning curve at the end of the day. And I personally had the gene of being an entrepreneur, being in Silicon Valley. You're always surrounded by these entrepreneurial geeks, and what they all talk about is new ideas, innovation, advanced technology, and stuff like that. So I knew down the road, like I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to solve a problem which is closely acquainted to me. And this was a problem which I faced. So I could relate to the problem statement very much by myself. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do.
Wow, that's really inspirational.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Um, do we have any other questions? I think that's it for attendees.
If you have any questions, you can just put them on the chat or just unmute yourself. In the meanwhile, I'd like to ask for the permission to put your LinkedIn profiles on the chat. Would that be okay?
Certainly.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. Thank you.
So I'll be putting it on the chat. You guys can connect with them, ask any questions if you have later on. Say thank you for the time for this event. I'll be doing that right now on the chat.
Mhm. In the meanwhile, if you don't have any questions, I want to just jump in, and I really want to take this opportunity of thanking you guys to inviting us and making us feel that this is something really cool that we can just blast it out to the entire community of UTA. So I would really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you, everyone, just listening to us and also inviting us for this event. Special shout out to Atul, very actively involved. Again, giving the opportunity again because that's how the journey started. And yeah, last but not the least, feel free to connect with us. If you have any questions, very happy to answer offline also. And talking about the opportunities too. Definitely looking to get involved with few interns. So yeah, just reach out to us and we will take it from there.
It was great to have you, Laura and Somil. I mean, this tool is like really helpful for international students, and I'm personally going to use it a lot from now. Like we have recorded this entire meeting, so we will also be posting this on our YouTube channel and sharing it with students. So because it's a Friday and many students have classes in the
Absolutely.
morning,
Yeah.
so like some of them missed it, but they will get to rewatch it.
Absolutely. Sounds wonderful to me. Thank you.
Awesome. So
Also, I have to point out this. I loved how detailed the website is, where you can compare the options, and it is important for the student as well as the company to have the alignment of interest. So thank you for walking us through the entire uh, introduction of the company to the website. We as students now understand the product, and I'm sure you'll find some suitable interns from our university.
Absolutely. Looking forward for the next partnership with UTA. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for having us. I really appreciated the chance to showcase our company and our product. You've got a nice, vibrant student community there, and I'm sure everybody will go far.
Thank you so much, Miss Laura.